Today on Rappler. Another teenager was shot and killed by a cop in Rodriguez, Rizal. Australia wants to do more joint patrols with the Philippines in the South China Sea. The Justice Department apologizes over the way revised guidelines for Filipinos traveling abroad was communicated. Russian militants fighting on the Ukraine side calls on the Wagner Group to avenge the death of founder Yevgeny Prigozhin. Former US President Donald Trump returns to social media site X, formerly known as Twitter. Pop star Ariana Grande reportedly splits from manager Scooter Braun. And the planned November release of the Dune movie sequel is delayed until March. Another teenager was shot and killed by a cop in Rodriguez, Rizal. This not long after the killing of 17-year-old Jempoy Baltazar in Navotas City earlier this month. 15-year-old John Francis Ompad is killed by Police Corporal Arnulfo Sabilio of Rodriguez Philippine National Police on Sunday, August 20. According to the police report, the victim's brother, 19-year-old John Ace Ompad, was on his way home riding his motorcycle when Sabilio and his civilian companion Jeffrey Baguio attempted to flag him. John Ace allegedly refused to stop and instead continued to his house. He later took off his helmet and threw it at the cops. This prompted Sabilio to draw his firearm and shoot. John Francis, who happened to be outside their house, was hit in the abdomen. Sabilio and Baguio will face homicide, attempted homicide, and administrative complaints. Both are detained at the custodial facility of Rodriguez Rizal. Australia, which has a security interest in the South China Sea, will work more closely with the Philippines on joint patrols in the contested waters. Australia's Defence Minister Richard Marles says this on Friday, August 25, as he observed military exercises between the two countries. More than 2,000 Australian and Philippine defense personnel are participating in amphibious landing and air assault drills. 2 Australian Navy vessels are conducting bilateral exercises with the Philippine Navy. The joint exercise is a first for the two nations and come amid renewed tensions between the Philippines and China in the South China Sea. Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. meantime says he is keen on discussing the continuation of the joint exercises when Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese visits in September. Albanese will be in Manila from September 7 to 8, the first official visit of an Australian Prime Minister since 2003. The Justice Department apologizes on Friday, August 25, over the way the revised guidelines for Filipinos traveling abroad was communicated. Justice spokesperson Miko Clavano says in an interview on DZBB, the communications was not done well. The Interagency Council Against Trafficking released revised guidelines on August 22, alarming Filipinos, with some arguing the Philippine government was infringing on Filipinos' right to travel. In a separate interview on Radyo 5, IACAT Undersecretary in Charge Nicolas T. emphasizes, if one is a seasoned traveler with no record of misrepresenting the purpose of the trip, they will only be asked for basic documents. The officials clarify the revised guidelines were for the vulnerable travelers, including first-time travelers, first-time overseas Filipino workers, and digital nomads. A group of Russian militants who fight on the Ukrainian side called on the Wagner Group of mercenaries to switch sides and join their ranks. This to avenge the deaths of Wagner founder Yevgeny Prigozhin and their commander Dmitry Utkin. Russian air authorities say Prigozhin, Utkin, and 8 other people were on a private plane that crashed with no survivors north of Moscow on Wednesday, August 23. Commander of the Russian Volunteer Corps Denis Kapustin posts a video urging the Russian mercenaries to switch to Ukraine's side. After 24 hours of silence, Russian President Vladimir Putin pays, quote, sincere condolences to the families and praises Prigozhin as a talented businessman. Russia opened an investigation into the crash in the face of widespread belief that Prigozhin was killed for staging a mutiny in June 2023. Contrary to reports, the US Department of Defense says there is no information to suggest that a surface-to-air missile took down the plane. Former United States President Donald Trump returns to the social media site X, formerly known as Twitter, with a post showing his mugshot. The mugshot was released on Thursday evening, August 24, after he was booked at Fulton County Jail in Atlanta. His post on X includes an appeal for donations and the words "election interference, never surrender." He was banned on the platform following the January 6, 2021 attack on Congress by his supporters. He used Twitter to allege widespread voter fraud in the 2020 elections. But the ban was reversed when Elon Musk bought Twitter in October 2022. Pop star Ariana Grande reportedly splits from manager Scooter Braun, making her one of the many music artists to part ways with the American talent manager. People reports Grande will no longer be managed by Braun after working with him for a decade. The source says the move was Grande's choice. They also claim the change in the star's management was not out of ill will towards Braun. Grande's decision coincides with fellow artists Justin Bieber, Demi Lovato, and Idina Menzel, who are also reportedly splitting from Braun. There are conflicting reports about whether the artists are leaving due to Braun's new role as CEO of Hybe America or other reasons. No official statements were made by any of the parties involved. Braun is under public scrutiny as he purchased pop phenomenon Taylor Swift's masters in 2019. The Warner Bros. Movie studio is set to delay the planned November release of a big-budget Dune sequel until March. A studio spokesperson says Thursday, August 24, this is because its stars cannot promote the movie during the Hollywood actors' strike. Dune Part 2 was one of the most anticipated films on the late 2023 schedule. It will now debut on March 15, a date reserved for Warner Bros. Film Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire. The monster movie will be moved to April 12. As a result, an animated Lord of the Rings film set for April 2024 was moved to December. Top stars refused to promote upcoming projects since the SAG-AFTRA Actors Union joined the strike on July 14. The strike by the Writers Guild of America began on May 2 and shut down most production of scripted television shows and some movie shoots. And that's today's wrap. I'm Julian Cirineo. Thank you for watching. Click the link below for the full story. Follow us on Rappler's YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.